Well, I'm just loading up the car. I'm really excited because I'm going to go and do a guest session with my friend Adam Reed on his syndicate in Hampshire. Adam fished last night and he's already had one, so I'm going to give him a ring and see how he's getting on now.
Oi, oi.
Hi, you okay?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well actually. I've managed a couple already, so you want to get yourself down here. And funnily enough, I've just had one and it's actually sat in the net over there, so I better deal with that.
Yeah, I'll let you get on with that one and I better get myself up there.
Yeah, you get your stuff sorted and I'll see you soon.
Okay, see you later. Right, I better get a wiggle on.
Well, that's the kettle on, and I'm going to make myself and Amy a cup of tea while she gets her stuff in the swim. She's going to get a bivvy up tonight, but she's not actually going to fish, and I think that's a pretty wise decision. She's had a long drive, and to be honest, all the bites lately have been coming in the day, which is quite unusual for here. Lucky enough myself, I got down last night, and it's gone pretty well to say the least. I didn't expect a great deal because it's been fishing really slow. Fish are yet to spawn and behaving quite weirdly. So yeah, I've had two really nice fish today, a 33 pound 4 ounce common, and then unbelievably a huge common at over 41 pounds. So as you can imagine, I'm pretty pumped. And with just over 48 hours in front of us, if things carry on like they have so far, we're going to be in for some session. Well, let's hope so.
With a much needed brew, Adam began to tell me a little about the lake and a lot about some of the huge carp that lived there, many of which would be able to smash my PB. So as I set up my bivvy, my mind was literally racing with the thought of stunning carp and what this session might hold. Hopefully the tiredness from this long drive would be enough to overcome this excited, almost nervous anticipation and I'd get some sleep. Somehow I doubt that, I just couldn't wait to get the rods out.
Well, good morning, and the night has passed with no action. We did mention yesterday that all the action has been in the days at the moment, and that has proved to be the case. Went to bed feeling fairly confident last night, but if I was honest, I'm thinking it's all going to be about the days again. We've woken up to some fantastic conditions. There's a really nice southwesterly blowing down this end of the lake. It's overcast, it's warm, it's big fish weather. I'm feeling really confident today for a bite. Just to set the scene on the lake, it's around 12 acres in size, and there really is some truly incredible carp swimming around in here, including some really big fish over the 40-pound barrier. Exact stock I'm not sure, but all I know is they're beautiful looking, and as I say, a lot of big uns. The only other option we have got, there's some lovely snags around the lake, and if that sun does poke its head through later on, that possibly could be an option to go and explore those snags and see if we can get some of them fish feeding. But for now, as I said, conditions are perfect. All the action was in the days yesterday. I'm just gonna have to sit on my hands. I've seen fish show, and just hopefully we can squeeze one more fish out, and hopefully it's another big one. Well, we said it was all going to be daytime action, and it's proved to be the case. It's a little bit earlier than I thought. We've not long done that little piece to camera, and the middle rod's gone. And unfortunately, at the moment, we're in a bit of a stalemate with the weed. It's got a lot of clear areas out there, and one of the ones obviously I'm fishing on is a clear area, but all around it is these big, thick weed beds. Obviously, we're well into June now, and it's pretty lush out there with fresh weed growth. So in this instance, it's just a case of keeping that steady pressure and just hoping that you win the battle. Feels a nice fish too. It's really powerful first run, so fingers crossed. we can get it out of the weed and show you. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go in. I need my waders. That's one. Oh. Thank you. We've had to take to the water because it's got me in a really big weed bed that I know about down this right hand side. When I saw the sun, he's not happy. When I saw the sun out yesterday, I saw this big weed bed and knew it could give me some grief. Really just at that stage now where we just need to keep that pressure on. I think what's happened is I think the line's gone through the weed bed and the fish is just kicking on the other side. Well, we've had to hop back out of the water now and back onto the bank to try and get a different angle on this fish. It's not that far out, but it's such a thick weed bed. It's just a game of patience. You hope the fish is still there. Just keep that pressure and hope eventually it's going to cut through that weed. Just have to be patient. Well, we've got it out of that big weed bed. Now I'm going to have to jump back in the water here because it's trying to get back around the other side again. I'll just chuck that net over my shoulder. Chuck that in the water. You can see there's a big ball of weed there. It's just a case of edging that forward. Have you got it? Yes, we have! Woo! Now that was what you call a battle royale. Unbelievable, and it just goes to show you, don't lose faith. Don't chuck your rod down, don't put it back on the rest, just keep that steady pressure on, and this luscious, big, thick beds of weed will just cut through. Trust your tackle, and we got our prize. Let's check it out. And there it is, our prize after that epic battle in the weed. Just under 28 pounds and as good as it gets. Grey, big old fins and a huge head. I think Amy's just getting her kit sorted now. Bless her, she was just getting her stuff ready and that rod's ripped off and she's had to come and help me get in the waders. Thank God she did, or we never would have landed this beautiful carp. And if this is the shape of things to come, I think we're in for a really good time. Weather's bang on. We've got the right bait in the right spots. Let's hope there's a few more of these to come.
Well, finally, it's time for me to put my rods out. After seeing the action that Adam has had this morning, I've been absolutely bursting to get these ones out, but it's just how it goes sometimes. I've popped one of my rods to the right of me, which is a spot that Adam showed me, and I have seen a few fish showing over there this morning, so I've decided that I'm not going to pop any bait on there at the moment. I'm just going to fish it as a single and we'll just see. The other spot that I'm fishing is sort of straight out in front, but the range is a little bit further. The area is slightly larger, so I have decided to put two rods on there. Haven't seen any fish, so I think I'm going to put a few spoms on that one just to see if we can sort of bring on a bite. But like I said, I'm going to leave the right hand spot just as it is, and hopefully one of those that we're showing will come back.
The day's drawing in now, and like it often does, it's gone in a flash. Same sort of pattern as yesterday, where I had that little run of activity sort of around mid-morning lunchtime. You saw that beautiful fish we had just under 28 pounds, and actually did nick another really nice scaly 20. It did look good for more. The weather hasn't changed at all, so I did think we were going to have another one this afternoon, but we haven't. So rather than have all my eggs in one basket, just in that open water spot, I've actually come round to this bank where the southwesterlies just running in nicely, and I'm going to prime a couple of really nice spots that I've had fish from in the past. Got a lovely couple of 2-tier shelves here just in the southwesterly bank, so I'm going to prime it with a few boilies because it just gives us an option tomorrow. If that sun pokes through and the bites dry up in open water, we'll always have this to drop back on. And it's always good to have another option, you know, it's not always going to be about those open water spots. So yeah, as the night draws in, Amy's finally got her rods out, she's all sorted. Fingers crossed some action in her swim tonight, and yeah, the next time you see us hopefully will be with a nice big carp. But until then, I'm going to prime a few more of these spots along this bank, and then we may well drop in tomorrow, we may not, but at least we've given ourselves a chance.
So I've given it the afternoon just fishing some singles after I saw some activity, but once I actually got the rods out, it all seemed to come to a stop. So I've put some bait out now, just a couple of spoms over each spot, just to sort of liven things up a little bit and see if they'll move in on some bait. All the spoms went out really well, my rods have gone out well, so I'm pretty pleased and confident going into this evening. So hopefully that will bring me my first bite of the session, and if not, maybe, like Adam, get myself a bite in the morning. But I'm pretty confident for tonight now, so fingers crossed we'll have one. So it was a quiet first night for me, but Adam has just messaged me to say that he's got one in the retainer, so I'm going to pop down to do some photos for him.
Well, how about that for a start to the day? I was just on the bench having a cup of tea, watching the mist burn off the water, and I had a tench, a big one as well, probably 8 or 9 pounds, and reach up the rod, and I thought that might have been it, because I thought there might have been a load of tench on the spot, but wasn't to be. It was out there no more than 10 or 15 minutes, and this beautiful mirror that's tipped the scales just under 30 pounds has got the day started. And what I will do at some point today is show you the presentation I've been using to catch these lovely carp while we're here, and let's hope there's a few more to come. Well, as often the case, where there's one, there's more. And the rod that I haven't long cast back out has gone again. It seems that the carp are definitely up for a little bit of a feed this morning. That spot is starting to rock in the mornings, and these bites are a lot earlier than the ones I had yesterday, so that bodes well for the rest of the day. Managed to keep this one out of the weed, which is a bonus. So let's concentrate on getting him in, and hopefully we can show you another carp. Well, he's trying to get us in a right 2-8 here with the other rod. He's underneath my feet here. I'm not on a very nice angle, if I'm honest, but here he comes. Hello, mate. Yeah. One last spirited run. And I think if I can stretch that net out, he is going to go in. I think he's nearly ours. He is. Bundle him in that net. Brilliant. He tried to get away, but he couldn't. Looks like a nice mirror too. What a result. And there's the importance of getting that rod straight back out there. We've obviously got quite a small feeding spell in the mornings at the moment. And if you just sort of got the fish out and dealt with that and left all the rods in and didn't worry about it, that spell might be gone. So we've got that rod back out, no more than 25 minutes, and it's gone again. So I think I'm going to repeat the process and see if there's any more out there. Wow, there it is. The result of that quick rechuck. What a beautiful, whoa, easy, got some energy. Beautiful, grey old beast. And believe it or not, that wasn't the end of the story. In between getting this weighed and sorted out, the other rod on the spot's ramped off, and we've had a beautiful mid-20 orangey mirror. Absolutely carnage out there this morning on the spot. They're certainly on the sale, and it certainly looks good for more. So let's slip this beautiful carp back and see if we can tempt another one.
So obviously this morning Adam has had a few fish, quite a flurry of activity actually, and still nothing seems to have happened over my sort of end of the lake. I've tried fishing singles and I did that when I got here, and it's not really, nothing's happened. Then I decided to use a little bit more bait, sort of more of a lighter baiting approach, but again it's not really sort of done any bites. So my next option is to put a larger bed of bait out, because see, Adam was here a little bit before me, and I think it's sort of given him a bit of a helping hand building up his swim with bait. So I think now it's time for me to do the same thing. I haven't really got anything to lose by doing this, so I might as well give it a whirl, and hopefully it will get me a bite either early this evening, tonight, or first thing, like Adam's activity this morning. So I've put together a really simple boilie mix. I've got cell boilies in here alongside with some crushed cell boilies. And then I just added in some cell response pellet, gave that a bit of a mix, and coated it in some cell smart liquid, just to give it a little bit of extra attraction. And hopefully I'll be able to build up this sort of larger bed of bait. I've got 2 rods on this spot, so I'm quite confident in applying the bait. Hopefully this is going to bring me on a bite.
So while we've got a little lull in the action, I'm going to show you the presentation I've been using to tackle these carp in this weedy lake. Now first of all, let's start with the mainline. I'm fishing it straight through naked style and it's 20-pound mono. That's really important. There's a lot of weed out there and I just feel by not using a leader or tubing, this 20-pound mainline will cut through the weed really nicely and help me hopefully land those fish when I do hook them. I'm also fishing that on a helicopter style. I do that for 85% of my fishing. I like the way it sits, I like the presentation of it with the casting, and I'm also using the heli safe. Vitally important again, I want to be dumping that lead straight away and getting them high up in the water out of those weed beds. Now moving on to the rig, I'm using my ever reliable pop-up rig, nice simple little D-rig. I can counterbalance that to sink as fast or as slow as I want. So on to the all-important hook baits, and on this session it's all been about pop-ups. For obvious reasons, there's a lot of low-line weed out there and I just feel by using a pop-up I'm going to be presenting 99% of the time. Now as far as flavours go on this session, I did what I always do. I started with 3 different ones to start things off. A pineapple juice pop-up, a milky toffee pop-up and a match the hatch cell cork dust pop-up. Now finally, and in fact it's a little bit of an edge if I'm honest, is I've incorporated the smart liquid. On the milky toffee I've used the cream, on the pineapple I've used the fruit, and on the cell obviously I've used the cell. So to summarise, we've got the boosted hook bait which I'm sure has got us the quick bites, we've got the pop-up presentation which has presented us perfectly, and then we've got that naked setup with the drop-off lead which has helped us get that fish up through the weed and cut through it and ultimately put more fish on the bank. Now it's certainly worked for me in the past and it's certainly worked on this session. Let's hope it puts one more on the bank before the session ends. Well, that's my 3 chances out on the dance floor. I'm going to nip along now and see how Amy's getting on, see if she's confident for tonight. Oi, oi.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Rods went out really nice, so
Good.
I'm feeling quite confident actually.
Well, there's certainly been a few more cruising around today, which is absolutely typical of this
Yeah.
place.
I've seen loads today, but they've all been on the top, so at least I know that they're in the area. But yeah.
It's got to hope now they drop down and feed tonight.
I hope so. I am desperate to catch one now. After seeing you, I really really want to catch one.
Well, I'm confident you will. I'm not going to stay here too long because just in case the action kicks off earlier than normal on the rods. But good luck for tonight.
Yeah.
I'm confident for you. There's certainly some fish about. Let's hope tomorrow morning we're holding up a big fat carp.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Good luck.
See ya.
See you later.
Well, we're cutting it really fine now. There's about an hour of my session left. I've seen quite a few fish out in front of me this morning, but unfortunately for Adam and myself, there hasn't been any more activity. I'm gonna have a really slow pack down now, but unfortunately I do think my chance has gone.
All packed up?
Yeah, that's me all done.
Well, it's just been one of them sessions, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not disappointed. I feel like I fished well. I mean, yeah, that was all I could do really.
Well, I think you fished really well and I certainly wouldn't be disappointed. You've got to remember, there's been 4 other people fishing here the whole time we've been here and all of the bites have come from just my middle rod.
Yeah.
So it's a localised spot and I think on another day, that could have been you in this swim and I would have been the one down there struggling.
Yeah.
So there's always next time.
Yes. Well, I'm back for my second guest session with Adam, and as you can see, it's got off to an absolute flyer. I've managed to beat my PB with 32 pounds, 8 ounces with this amazing mirror, and I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm just going to get a couple of catch shots of this one, and then I'm going to pop him back, and then I can tell you how I managed to catch this amazing mirror. Now that I've dried myself out and I've managed to calm down slightly, I need to go and thank Adam for all of his help. This morning was such a blur. He was amazing, he was so helpful, and I haven't even really seen him yet, so having a catch up is going to be really good.
Here she is.
Well, I thought I'd better come over and say thanks for giving me a hand this morning.
Back off cloud 9?
Yeah, I've calmed down a little bit now.
Special carp.
Yeah, it was
well, I
really
did say
good.
It looked good, didn't I? I mean, you've only got to look at the conditions. Last time we were here, post-spawning, you know, only just coming out of the spring, or just sort of the back end of the spring, and they can be funny. And they were just localised in that area last time, but when you got here, it just looked like there was fish everywhere, didn't it?
Yeah, it did look really good when I got here.
So I'm not surprised at all. To be honest, the weather's staying the same, staying pretty consistent. Going to be sort of unsettled, big winds.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to carry on in that vein. So I think before the weather really gets miserable, I think I'm going to get another bucket of gear out there because they certainly seem to be on the feed.
Yeah, they do. Definitely need to go and top my spots up after this morning.
Yeah, well, I think you go and do that before it starts tipping down, and fingers crossed we can have a few more like that one this morning.
Hopefully I'll see you again.
Yeah, see you in a bit. Wow, we did not manage to beat the rain, as you can see. But you know what? I would not swap these conditions for the world. Middle of autumn now, and we've just got the perfect carp fishing conditions. Low air pressure, big southwesterly winds, and obviously a load of rain, which all add up to the perfect conditions to catch big carp. Now, what's quite nice with this session, and it's actually a bit of a coincidence because the last session we were on a few months ago, me and Amy, we were in the same area, and it's not too far apart, and the two main spots in the swim, or in both the swims, sorry, are open water spots, and it's a channel or a path that the carp tend to use. So with me and Amy being on the same bait, food source boilie maybe in the cell, it's nice because we can actually bounce fish off each other. Because if the fish are moving up and down the lake like they do, I could pick up a few fish, they might spook off, move on to Amy's, and obviously are going to be greeted with the same bait as what they've just been enjoying on the other spot. And this syndicate actually has got quite a few people on the same bait, which is great because the carp tend to associate that food with a regular food source, if you like, and a lot of them find it quite safe to eat. You'll find that in a lot of waters, if people are using the same bait and there's a lot of it going in, obviously you're never going to catch them all, you're never going to trick them all, so there's a large number of them in a well-stocked place like this that you're going to slip up if you're using the same food source as lots of other people. So I can't recommend that enough, especially this time of year as well, middle of autumn. I love boilie fishing, so this mix is mainly made up of that 10 and 15 mil cell, little bit of pellet, and then just a little bit of the activator liquid to mix it up and bind it all together. And it's done me so well. It really has over the last couple of months. And Amy getting that quick bite this morning, you know, I just feel, obviously Amy took some advice on what to come and use down here, having only been here a couple of times. I put her straight on the same mix as me, and I think that's evidence in itself that a good food source boilie, and plenty of it going in, can get you quick bites, just like that beautiful 30 pounder this morning for Amy. So I'm going to get the rest of this bucket out, get some pop-ups tied on, because, like I say, it is the perfect conditions, and if we don't catch another carp, I will be shocked. And let's hope it's a bigger one than that one this morning.
Well, I was lucky enough to get half a bucket of bait out before the rain really set in, but I'm not sure that Adam was quite so lucky. I was hoping to get the rods out once the rain had completely stopped, but these conditions are really set in now and it just doesn't look like it's going to stop. I can't complain about the conditions because they are perfect for carp fishing, but the rain is really coming down now. I'm going to get all 3 rods back out on my spots. I'm going to use the same rig that did me the bite this morning, which is a hinge rig with a pineapple pop-up. When I was here before, the weed was really growing, it was flourishing, it was everywhere, right up to the surface, but now it's really dying down, so that's why I want to use the hinge rig, so in case there's any weed just like drifting over the top of my spots, I know that this is going to sit perfectly over the top. I'm going to get these out now, and then hopefully we'll be in for another chance of a bite. The persistent rain through the night had continued into the final morning of the session, and despite the conditions looking perfect, another bite had not yet materialised for Adam or myself. It's not to say the anticipation of a take wasn't there, as it felt like a rod would burst into action at any moment. The air pressure was clearly low, the wind was warm and steady. Surely something had to happen. So while sheltering in my bivvy, I continued to prep some rigs so as not to waste an opportunity of potential feeding spell. Hinge rigs armed with a pineapple juice pop-up balanced with a little bit of putty just to sit gently over any weed. Lead clips completing the setup to quickly ditch the lead on the take to increase the chances of landing one of these special carp. As the session began to draw to a close, one of Adam's rods finally received the bite we've been anticipating. Even the rain began to ease as another one of these amazing carp hit the net, bringing smiles that we could maybe take some better photos and dry a few things out. Little did we know what was about to happen next. The session still had one more twist, and I received a take from a powerful fish ploughing way into deep weed.
It's just a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Has the line just come through the other side of it, or?
Down there.
There's a longer net here if you wanted it, Adam. I'll give you that bit. Sure? Thank you. That's right, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Just loosen the drag a tiny bit. Oh, that feels horrible. I can't maintain my excitement. I might wee myself in a minute. Let's see. Oh my God. Okay. It looked so good for a bite this morning, but that bite actually came to Adam's rods. But look how things have turned around. On my middle rod, I have just had a 45-pound, 6-ounce mirror, and what a fish this is. I'm absolutely blown away by this. I absolutely cannot believe it.
Well, this is certainly the highlight for me on this session, and the second of 2 fish this morning. First one was a lovely chunky 30-pound mirror, and then how about this scaly banger to end? But that fish was just a little bit special just now, wasn't it?
That was amazing. It is absolutely made up for my complete session. It has been brilliant.
Well, I told you that 3-month wait was going to be worth it. We've timed it right, we've got the conditions right, and what an epic buzz to enjoy. And the sun is shining on the righteous, so we can pack up and get a few things dry.
Yeah, even better.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been so amazing.
Loved it. Let's get a couple of still shots, get it back.
Yep.